how are the three yogas of karma, bhakti, and jnanam, how are they interdependent? Secondly, what are the advantages and disadvantages in each yoga? These are the questions, correct? Right. So let's take up the first one. How do we say that these three yogas, karma, bhakti, jnanam, are interdependent? One needs the other to make it holistic. Karma, as you know, is selfless actions. Bhakti is emotional union, feeling towards Brahman or God. And Jnanam is intellectual awareness of the self. Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vichara. True Jnana. So how are the three yogas interdependent? One helps the other. In fact, one cannot sustain without the other. That's what it means. Looks like Ramji is fully prepared. So we shall begin with Ramji's wisdom.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir, I am fully prepared.
How did I know that you're fully prepared, sir?
You can read minds, sir. We know that.
Yes, sir.
So interdependency, in fact, yesterday evening only I wrote down the points. So action, that is karma, selfless action is important in both bhakti and jnanam, because without action there is no life. I mean, if you just remain in bhakti and jnanam without action, then you are not, as we say, without action, it is death type of a thing. So action is important in all the three, the other two respectively. Then bhakti plays an important role in both K and J, that is karma and jnanam, to keep you grounded and focused on Brahman. Without bhakti, you will become arrogant. Means you have to have, because it helps you to give up the ego, and then you are able to perform karma and jnanam without ego, and then you are able to stay grounded. Third is jnanam helps you to convert all the knowledge gained through karma and bhakti to wisdom, and then helps you to actually enhance your spiritual journey. Otherwise, you will be stuck at the level of information and knowledge and not really converting it into wisdom if you don't use jnanam. Those are the 3 points I noted, sir.
Sir, with great difficulty, I'll have to give you 50% marks, sir.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry about that.
No, I need to be sorry. You don't need to be sorry, sir.
So
No,
yeah.
No, certain sections I don't want to specify now, because then I'll be answering the question. Let me hear more comments.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel where you did not see, you generalized the word karma. When you say karma, you took action as the insignia of life in that sense.
Selfless action.
But then when you say when you don't perform action is death, you mentioned, didn't you?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But we are not talking karma in that sense. We're talking in terms of karma of unselfish and selfless work. Okay. So how does performance of karma yoga of that's where I felt the interpretation of karma was not apt in the context. Secondly, when you said of jnanam, also how it helps, you told about converting knowledge into wisdom. But how does Jnanam help karma and bhakti? Their little clarity was lacked. Bhakti, how it helps Jnanam, you are right there. So there are a lot of vagueness with Jnanam and a little lack of clarity with reference to karma. That's the reason I will give you 48%, sir.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
But you are passed, sir. 35% above is passed, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, sir. Right. Arunama, she'll be wondering how many marks I'll get now. More than the answer, she wants to get more marks. Can you try now, please? Yeah.
Now I can. Yeah. Hariom Guruji. You're putting me under more pressure by talking about marks.
That's why you have been a teacher. You don't need to be put under pressure, no?
Okay. Yeah, okay, Guruji. I mean, so you want me to discuss how the three are interrelated? Okay.
Interdependent. Interrelated. Okay. Interrelated, interdependent, anything. Yes.
Okay. From my understanding, it's bhakti is actually followed by people who are of the emotional nature. That means their mind is the one that is controlling the activities. So they are the ones who are leading the superstitious faiths, rituals, and they have a personal God and so on like that. So it is mind controlling them. For the jnana, it is the intellect that is controlling their activities. Okay. So that is a time, like you said, we can distinguish between what is permanent and impermanent in life, and we can know what is constant in our life, what is an unchanging factor in our life. So realizing that, then we are able to move on, control our thoughts and feelings and desires and identify with the self within us. Once we know, the world is ephemeral, changing, and so on like that. Okay, so we don't focus on the ephemeral changing world, we focus more inward. We take to the introverted path. So it's a path of reflection. So discrimination, analysis. So your intellect becomes more strengthened. You don't fall a victim to the mind's likes and dislikes. Okay, and then when you come to karma, it is both the head and the heart working together. That means it is suited to a person who is 50% emotional and 50% intellectual. That means the mind and the heart working together. That means the mind and the intellect working together. So in karma, what happens is you pitch up a higher ideal in life. Okay, the mind pitches up a higher ideal in life. The body works to attain that ideal, and the intellect makes sure the mind does not stray from the focus ideal. So you don't get caught up by your likes and dislikes, and you need a balanced, equanimous life, and you fulfill whatever you are trying to achieve. You don't become a victim to your mind, and you don't become like intellect alone, you become very aggressive. So here, so you go inward more like that. So, and finally, you try to control your desires, and you go inward, introverted path. So you're working for a noble cause there. So that is uplifting you. Step by step, you're getting uplifted, you're getting purified. Your selfish desires are being controlled. You become more and more selfless. So you become more balanced in karma.
Well, I'll have to give you a distinction because I'm coming to Malaysia. I need to be taken care of. So I can't fail you here. So
You don't have partial
distinction passed, So the real marks will come back after return from Malaysia.
Okay. Thank you.
Ramji, please forgive me for being selfish in this context. Otherwise, if I fail her, she'll say, Guruji, we are not going to take care of you, she'll say. Then I'll be in deep trouble there, sir.
I don't know, Guruji, whatever. I mean, it's got no relevance. You're always most welcome to Malaysia. We're all waiting to with you actually. After coming
No.
after 4 to 5 years, I think.
Yeah, after 4 years, more than 4 years.
You're
No,
looking
no.
forward to it, actually.
I know.
Again.
It's always been a home away from home. Jokes apart, I think the general concept of karma, bhakti, jnanam, you are quite correct. But I thought there's a lot of clarity required with reference to interdependency of the yogas, because that didn't come out clearly, So perhaps through the analysis, you will gain clarity. But what I seek when we ask questions is to bring in clarity to your thought. Means every word, every punctuation, in fact, every word matters, because it just have to hit the bullseye. Otherwise, you miss the board. Many people talk about the philosophy. I felt you did that. You spoke about the concept, but when we are asking a question, you must be point blank. You must hit the nail on the head. That's when you get the clarity of thought, and that is where is the objective of you being told to work out on a question. So you need to actually sit and actually write specific points and say, how is this related to that? It's like a you're working on a project. Be very precise. And I don't know whether you had a chance to work on this, Mark, but I don't see you did.
I did try, but actually I could not, like you said, come to that particular point, how to nail it down. I was having the difficulty actually. And I thought, can you relate it to the intellect? It is the development of the intellect, because in Bhakti Yoga, the intellect is not developed. Whereas
not necessary. Let's see, there are 3 distinct parts, because there are 3 types of personalities, but no one is exclusive. One, since every human being has all 3 personalities, you have to integrate all 3. Therefore, a thorough understanding of this integration is very important, so that you do justice to your proportion. As we said last class, if you have 30% karma, if you have 30% bhakti and 40% jnanam, you must stick to this proportion. If you don't do this proportion, your transformation is not optimum, or there's no transformation at all. It becomes lopsided development. So to ensure that, you have to have all 3. So if someone is not predominantly intellectual, you mean to say they don't spiritually evolve? You can't say so. They can very much evolve. If somebody is predominantly karma yogi, the moment I talk of karma, I think of people who are predominantly karma. They're all the time in the field work. They're all the time trying to mobilize resources, how to use it, how to execute, all the time organizing, being in the field. You tell them to come and put in an Upanishad class or Bhagavad Gita class or this wisdom, they are lost, they're out of place. But they're predominantly karma yogis. They also spiritually evolve, because that is their constitution. Someone who's designed for knowledge and study, you put me in the field work, I'll be out of place beyond a point. I'll get suffocated if I'm deprived of this feed of knowledge or wisdom. So that's my proportion, that sense. Okay, right? Right, ma. US, any thoughts?
Yeah, Guruji. When we do karma yoga, you work for an unselfish cause. You have a higher goal in your mind. When you do bhakti, you have a feeling of gratitude. And when you do jnanam, the head and the heart does it land.
What jnanam? What it is?
The ego goes when you have a feeling of gratitude. Does the jnanam have the head and the heart feeling?
So jnanam is predominantly head, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
when there is a
head is
when there's a balance of head and heart, then it is karma.
balance of head and heart.
There is a karma.
Then when you become a feeling of gratitude, so isn't it from the heart?
It is from the heart. It is bhakti. Bhakti is being grateful and thankful.
Yeah. So Jnanam?
I'm asking you questions. You all are asking me questions. What is going on here? Looks like little roles are reversed here. Okay. There are many question marks. We shall get all of them clarified. Yes, Itama. Considering Ushama is my host, I'll give her 60% marks.
Pranam Guruji.
Namaskar.
Guruji, first is the knowledge you get that there are you are not only ego, there is an Atma inside, and one has to that knowledge has to first come in you. You should be aware that there is something beyond this world. So that it starts with Gyan. Then you have to desire that you want to reach there. So that desire, that love for that is bhakti. Then the Gyan will guide you how to do it. It is not with your normal karma that you're doing. You have to tweak your karma a little and do yogic karma. So it is a interdependent side-by-side thing going on constantly. So then you start performing karma in a yogic manner. And as you are performing that, as you are evolving, you realize that you are moving away from the ego. So more bhakti, more love for the object. Then constantly the Gyan is teaching you how to discipline yourself and move on the yogic field. Till you are through with all the yoga, that karma yoga that you have finished or whatever. But they all three are working in tandem at every step.
Sitama will be very angry with me. You know, in a competition, especially archery or shooting, they get these boards where you shoot, isn't it? And each one has got a designated board to shoot. I shoot in my board, you shoot in your board. But looks like some of your arrows in somebody else's boards. So that is my concern. So please be very forgiving me for having said that so bluntly.
I know, sir.
Off target. Some of them off target. I can be with you. I am with you on that because in order to come out with this kind of, it's a very difficult question to answer. I must say that it's not easy to get this the amalgamation of these three yogas and to be able, it's like doing a complicated open heart surgery. This is what in medical terms I'm putting it philosophically, and it's not easy to get it right. And where some of you who have been familiar with the concepts are struggling is because it's not every surgeon can do a complicated open heart surgery. So bear with me for being very particular, because if one facet of the surgery goes wrong, the patient is dead. We can't afford that. So I'm being very critical in the answers because it has to be 100% right if the patient has survived. Okay. Thanks, Sitama, for the attempt and the effort. Setuji.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.
The purpose of human life, the only purpose of human life is to get moksha.
Okay.
One has all these three gunas in different proportions. And
not gunas.
Yeah, all three, this Bhakti, Marga, and this Jnanam, Bhakti, Karma, Jnanam in different proportions.
Yeah, but they're not gunas. Huh?
Yeah, no.
Right.
No. One has to become sattvic at first towards purifying ourselves, towards achieving our only to become, to go towards moksha. So only two yogas are there, karma and jnanam. Bhakti is the foundation for both. Bhakti is a worshipful attitude, and it is prevalent in both. It has to be the basic foundation for following any of the other two margas. This yogas, karma, when we perform karma, it has to be unselfish and selfless. And we have both, anyone has to be always in action. Even any sattvic person is always in action. He will be doing karma selflessly. And so, toward anyone exceptional, as you said, Adi Shankara had a balance of all these three, but everyone has to take the path which is predominant. But while taking that path, now if karma is predominant in you, you have to be unselfish, selfless, and you have to become sattvic and all. But without jnanam, you ultimately don't get to moksha. See, one has to remove ignorance in life, whoever it is. Jnanam is important. So all three are very interdependent, and one has to. Bhakti is the foundation. Sattvic man has to be in action all the time, and jnanam we have to have to remove our ignorance. And ultimately in Turiya, when we have to achieve the final state, we have to give up attachment, and to even to Guru and God, we have to have.
I see a lot of preconceived notion here. I can question a few assumptions there, but then again it would go into a loop cycle of you just clarifying and me asking, which I wouldn't want to get into. You have made certain valid points, but certain I would certainly question. For example, you said one has to be sattvic. Sattva is the result of karma, bhakti, jnanam. As the 8th mantra said, one who does these three will get established in Vishuddha Sattva. So the goal is Sattva. Absolute 100% Sattva is self-realization, to put it that way.
Introverted is we have to
No,
purify.
sir. No, see, sir, a spiritual sadhana, even, sorry, sir?
See, in I am another impression, we have to become more and more sattvic. That is
correct.
That process, we have to, that is the prime purification involves becoming more and more sattvic, more and more we get introverted.
Correct. That's true. That's the effect of the sadhana. The effect is where you become pure, the desires get dropped, you become sattvic and so on. Okay. Right. So any more inputs? Anybody wants to share? Ashama? Yes, please.
Pranam Guruji, I mean, mine is very immature type of analysis. It's based on my own journey of life. Right from a young age, I mean, when we were very little, I used to remember every morning, our father, Papaji, used to play the record, that 78 RPM on his master's voice. तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान, तू ही जल में तू ही थल में, जल is water, थल is earth, तू ही जल में तू ही थल में, तू ही मन में तू ही बन में. So like everything where I see, it's that probably because of that emotional attachment to the idea of pure consciousness, which is the cause of our very existence, this emotion develops into bhakti, which becomes the cause of our karmas, the type of karmas, because we start loving everything around us, the objects, the people, everything. So that's how that shapes our karmas. With this awareness, we develop love for all beings and objects around us. Bhakti and karma infuses the thought to know the source of our very existence. The path opens up to gain more knowledge. That is what has been my journey of life.
I will give you 100% marks. Not what you said, with the love and the purity with which you say, I can't see anything wrong in you, ma. अभी वो हमारा आपके ऊपर प्यार है, हम I can't do anything else. Huh? I still can't forget my stay with Amma. It's like Shabari was taking care of Rama, like that she took care of me. I was so touched by her unparalleled love and devotion. Unparalleled. I have not come across that kind of purity with which she was there. So I can't find fault with whatever you say, ma. So 100% marks. So please forgive me if I disagree with you in anything. Ulta.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gayatri ma.
Guruji, this karma from unselfish to selfless, usually when you're doing karma without any higher goal, that unselfishness leads to that arrogance, or it's more mechanical rather, just do it and then you forget it. If that bhakti and knowledge, what you're doing, if it's not there, that goal is the one which consumes the intellect, that is the jnanam. And bhakti is the devotion what you do in the karma. Otherwise it is stale. Like in the case of bhakti, you stagnate at the ritualistic point itself. You don't question that what you're doing, why you're doing it. So if jnanam is not inserted in that, then you really stagnate over there. And then in the while doing bhakti, doing your proportion, you should do karma to make you more humble. In the case of jnanam alone, will definitely lead to arrogance, that I know everything. And there again, you don't literally go inward with that. Humility will not be there if bhakti is not injected. And also that gratitude will not be there. You literally become a arrogant intellect professor. And karma has to be injected so that you become, all the three proportions are mixed up like. That's it.
Next time I request you to go a little slow. It is like supersonic rocket that passed by, by the time we could see it's gone somewhere. So we didn't know it was a rocket or it was a missile. Like that it went. I would say a major part of it, you got it right. I don't know how much of it others could fathom or put it in its place, but I think you've got it fairly right, ma. So I think I appreciate the effort you all have put in. So the question, how are these three yogas interdependent? See, karma, we define it as selfless or unselfish work. Now, karma without knowledge, karma without jnanam is directionless, point one. When you perform action, mere action has no direction. So knowledge without jnanam is directionless, becomes mechanical. It is purposeless. So directionless, purposeless, it becomes mechanical. So what jnanam does to karma is jnanam is predominantly intellect and knowledge and wisdom. So jnanam conceives a goal. So karma needs jnanam because action needs a direction. I repeat, knowledge without jnanam is directionless, purposeless, it becomes mechanical. I want to serve, But to whom to serve? To what to serve? For what am I working for? That is conceived, goal is conceived by the intellect. So the Jnanam gives a purpose and a goal for action. So what I'm saying is karma without Jnanam is directionless, purposeless, mechanical. Bhakti without Jnanam, Bhakti is a natural feeling towards God, towards higher. Bhakti without Jnanam, without intellect, you develop attachment leading to fanaticism. If you look at yourselves, each of you have developed a fanatic attachment to a personal God. And I can't dislodge you. In fact, the guru can dislodge you, provided the student is ready. Since the student is not ready, the teacher will not dislodge. So what Jnanam does is it gets rid of any attachment, making your journey smoother, because mind develops attachments. So in the spiritual field also, you develop attachment to your religion, you develop attachment to your guru, you develop attachment to the knowledge, you develop attachment to your mechanical ritualistic practices like Gayatri Ma mentioned. So to get rid of all the unnecessary attachment in the spiritual field, Jnanam comes and frees you from the mind which gets attached. And fanaticism is Krishna alone is God. To say my God alone is right, every other religion, every other God is a rubbish, is fanaticism. Even in Hinduism, you say Shiva is great. Or to say Rama is great. Why are you getting caught up in forms? Fanaticism. It's like people get fanatic to their political parties. People get fanatic to their belief systems. Now, the highest fanaticism is towards spirituality. Believing your religion, your faith is better than other people's faith or religion is fanaticism. So intellect helps you to counter that. Now, Jnanam without Bhakti, as quite a few of you all have rightly said, when there is only knowledge and there's no Bhakti, it develops arrogance. So injection of Bhakti helps you to become more humble, more grateful. It's like, we take an example, if you take an iron rod as ignorance and you want to cut through ignorance through the saw of intellect, the mere saw of the intellect can't cut through the ignorance of that iron rod, because if you just use the saw alone, it becomes heated and it'll break. So you need to constantly lubricate it. So that lubricating agent is that devotion. So the oil of devotion has to go along with the sharpness of intellect to cut through the ignorance. The example I'm giving only in the context of how Jnanam without Bhakti is dangerous, develops arrogance, headweight, as they say. Jnanam alone without performing karma. What is karma? Unselfish or sacrificial work, selfless work. If you only gain Jnanam without doing your karma or seva, you become a non-adhikari for the Jnanam itself. Knowledge will be of no use to you if you don't serve the knowledge. So you should serve the wisdom if you want the wisdom to serve you. If I don't serve this wisdom, and if I want the wisdom to serve me, I am a non-adhikari of the wisdom. So by serving the wisdom, I become an adhikari. Now, if I don't serve the wisdom, what will I become? A non-adhikari. And who is a non-adhikari? One who is selfish and self-centered is not an adhikari of this wisdom. You want to become an adhikari of this wisdom, you must serve the wisdom. That is where knowledge helps Jnanam. Correct, Gayatri Ma? If you don't serve, the knowledge will become useless, brittle, it will fall away. Often the example I've heard is, when you see any new construction happening, especially brick and cement construction, you find there's a lot of time spent on curing the construction. They cure it with water. If you don't pour water and cure that construction, it doesn't solidify. It doesn't bond well. So it becomes brittle, and long run, it will break. So what cures your knowledge is karma. So pouring water is karma. If you don't serve the wisdom, if you don't serve the cause, the knowledge will not serve you. So karma helps you becoming an adhikari to gain this knowledge. I recap what I have said so far for some of you who want to quickly check or correct yourself. Karma without jnanam, we said, is directionless, is purposeless, is mechanical. So jnanam gives a direction to your karma by conceiving a goal, what you're working for. Bhakti without jnanam, we said, develops attachment and fanaticism. Jnanam without bhakti develops arrogance. So bhakti helps you to become more humble. You develop humility. We took the example of a saw, oil, and iron. And jnanam without knowledge makes you a non-adhikari. If you're selfish, you are not worthy of receiving this knowledge. So this knowledge is designed only for sacrifices. It is not designed. What is the purpose of talking, serve the higher, when I'm being selfish? It is coming free, I'll take it. You are not asking anything, I am not doing anything. In the olden days, even before the knowledge is given, the guru, you approach a guru with what? Samit Pani. You offer firewood, because that is what the teacher needed, whatever he needed for his survival. Even before the knowledge is given, the teacher approaches with humility and serves the guru. And to check whether the student really wants the knowledge, he says, okay, you come back after 1 year. The guru used to say, come back after 6 months, 1 year. The student will not go back into his samsara. He will say, okay, well, I have left the samsara and I want to seek this knowledge. The guru says he'll only give me 6 months after give me knowledge. So he will stay with the guru for 6 months and do whatever service the guru needs. Wash his clothes, fetch food for him, whatever he needs to do, he will do. 6 months after, the student goes and says, oh Lord, it's been 6 months. Not that the guru doesn't know, but I'm ready. I want this knowledge. I've not forgotten. I've come here for knowledge. Then the student has become an adhikari to receive. So even before the jnanam is given, you do seva. Samitpanim, Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtham. The Upanishad said. The opposite of that is to receive the knowledge because it's coming free to you and I don't do anything about it. Not that the guru wants anything, but you don't give it. If I were to say, each of you, tell me what are you doing to the foundation? What are you doing to the guru? If I were to pinpoint each of you and tell, I'll be the most misunderstood person in this classroom. Because you say, oh, this fellow is telling something with a motive. I am not. Problem is a guru will be misunderstood. But a guru tells you to serve so that you become unselfish. If you don't serve, you are being selfish. So what am I doing to serve? Condition is the guru doesn't want anything from you. And I don't want anything from you. I don't need you nor your seva. But it is being told so that you don't become a non-adhikari. Just because it comes one way, you receive it and you don't do it, you're being ungrateful. To counter that, a guru constantly gives you opportunity to serve. When I knock at your door and say, let's do something, it's only to help you grow, not that I am looking something out of it. No guru, no true guru wants anything from you. So that's how karma helps you evolve. It helps you to become a adhikari. Sir, considering, you must understand, we are more takers than givers, aren't we? In any relationship, that relationship will not last if you are a predominant taker. Even in your own family, if you are constantly taking from the family or your spouse or any relationship, the relationship becomes brittle. It's at the verge of breakdown because the other partner also says you should do your part in this relationship. We can't just, no parent also will allow the child to just become useless to the society, to the family, or to himself and just consume the resources of the family. The father will kick out and say, man, you fellow, you need to be more responsible. I'm not going to feed you. You've got to learn to have value for what is coming your way. He says, get out. You live on your own, he says. Just because I have acquired, that doesn't mean it may come to you one day, but that doesn't mean you become a piece of wood or stone. So each of you must ask yourself, what am I doing to be an adhikari of this knowledge? Just because it is coming my way, I should not take it for granted. The knowledge will not serve you. That's how karma is related to jnanam. So if you are not doing karma, I tell you, the jnanam you learn is useless. Very, very powerful. Every way, not just here. Everything is very interdependent. Like, what is the point doing karma without for what are you doing? See, so many invitations may come to me, but I must be very clear. What am I serving? People get involved with every possible service because they don't have a clarity as to what they want to serve, what they want to use their time for. So that clarity is lost. So Jnanam gives you clear clarity as to what you want to serve. Otherwise, you get involved with everything and anything. That dissipates energy. In spiritual path is a very clear path. You don't want to get involved just because I'm karma yogi and get involved in every possible thing. I want to relieve the leprosy patients from their problems, so they have an institution. I want to help the Annadanam. I want to construct temples. I want to build orphanages. Where all you will go, what all you will do. Or I want to build temples. All is a service. You're very clear. And karma, when you do karma without bhakti, bhakti is that feeling. And when you do karma action without feeling for what you're doing, it is soulless. It is chalk and cheese. They both look alike, but it is no substanceless. So when you serve, it's not that you're doing a favor to somebody. When you're doing service, you say, oh, I've given so much time to you. I've done a favor to you. It's not that kind of a feeling. When you serve your family, are you doing a favor to your family? You don't do it. You don't do a favor to your child. Tomorrow, if your child is abroad and she is due for delivery, don't you go all the way from here to provide for their well-being? What all have you not done for your children and your family well-being? Are you done a favor to them? So it is that utmost gratefulness for being given an opportunity to serve. You're grateful that I have an opportunity to serve. So that feeling must back karma. So when you do karma, without this bhakti, is soulless. It's like you're doing a job just for the sake of salary. Everybody knows you are not a conscientious worker. Has no meaning and purpose. So if you look at this way, this is how karma, bhakti, and jnanam are interdependent. One needs the other. Ramji, have we covered all points to this question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we have connected each yoga to other two yogas. How is jnanam connected to karma and bhakti? How is bhakti connected with jnanam? How is karma connected to jnanam? How is karma connected to bhakti?
So bhakti and karma also you have given, sir.
Yeah, I said no. Karma without bhakti is soulless.
No, bhakti without karma. Is there something for bhakti without karma?
Bhakti without karma. We have mentioned karma without bhakti.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So we said that karma without bhakti is soulless. I mean, you are doing very mechanical karma there, mechanical service rather. And then, but if you are a bhakta and you are not doing any karma, we said bhakti without jnanam leads to fanaticism and attachments. But bhakti without action, without karma will be
It's like a doctor getting stuck while doing the open heart surgery. Don't know what to do. Should we cut the nerve or not? That's the point we are in now. So don't jump at it. It's very easy for me to jump at it, but you need to be need to appreciate that pause or patience. That silence is very important. And I'm pausing not because I do not know what to say, but there are times you need to question everything, examine everything. Any thoughts? What do you all feel? Any thoughts, Ramji? Firstly, do you think how do you think bhakti without karma?
Bhakti without karma, I feel that I mean, it is almost similar to Jnanam without karma, that you are so emotionally involved with the God that you're not, let's say, sharing it with others, or you are not helping the others to do the similar thing, or your emotion becomes too dominant, and then you become useless for the society, in the sense that you are not able to contribute anything to the society. Bhakti combined with selfless action will actually give you the right results, but bhakti without action is sometimes either you do it for your own happiness or you do it for show.
See, we said how karma helps Jnanam is it makes you an adhikari.
Right.
You become worthy of receiving the Jnanam.
Correct.
But the question is, how does karma help bhakti? What is bhakti? Bhakti is a feeling towards the Lord.
Correct.
And in order to have a feeling can be ignoble or chaste. So a karma yogi, when karma is done, it purifies and chastens your emotions. So the feeling towards God, like when you pray, you don't pray for asking something for yourself. Invariably today, a prayer is conditioned with wants for oneself. So when one does karma is done with an utter attitude of gratitude or gratefulness. So how karma helps bhakti is it purifies your emotions. It makes them chaster and purer. Otherwise, bhakti seems to get tainted with wants and desires. I must say that pause really helps to give clarity. So what we said is bhakti without karma purifies and chastens your emotions, which means it makes your prayer without any wants. And also Ashrama's point is very apt. Bhakti without karma, bhakti propels us to do karma. When you love your God, you love his creation. So you will serve the creation with utmost love and feelings. Beautiful point. Abu Ben Adam, the poem Abu Ben Adam says, I don't know what love for God is, but I know his creation. So that could be a very valid point. Bhakti without karma.
We say that Manava Seva is Madhava Seva.
Correct.
So if you don't serve other people, then you can't serve the God.
But this is where we said karma without jnanam is directionless.
Yeah.
So you need clarity. Oh, Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Therefore, I serve everything without an understanding where I'm going, what I'm doing, to what I'm doing.
You have
That
to use,
needs
correct.
use your buddhi to serve that. Isn't it? Mhm. So this is how you realize how intricately these three yogas are interdependent. One cannot sustain without the other. One cannot thrive without the other. So you need to do all these. So, and then the second part of the question becomes very easy to answer. What are advantages or disadvantages? Karma, the advantages, you become naturally predisposed to more service and sacrifice. You're naturally a giver. Not many, very few are blessed to be givers. Very few think in terms of what can I do. So that spirit of service and sacrifice is naturally comes to a person who's predominantly karma yogi. But as we said, disadvantages is he's not able to control his actions. He lacks direction. He can't give direction. He can't steer his actions. He just continuously keeps performing actions selflessly, but not able to steer, because to steer you need intellect. So disadvantage of karma is lacks direction. Advantage of bhakti is the mind itself flows towards the higher. You're very soft by nature. You have that feeling of gratitude. Your mind is inclined towards God, but the disadvantage is you develop attachment. Terrible attachment. So difficult to get rid of it. If attachment in the Ishavasya Upanishad, it says if you're attached to the world, you're in darkness. If you're attached to the spiritual world, you're in greater darkness. So it's very difficult to bring someone out of spiritual attachment. Not easy. It's too strongly bound. So people who are bhakti with no intellect, all attachment. Now the advantage of Jnanam is it gives you a phenomenal clarity of thought. Your goal is very clear, very vivid. Your actions become steadfast towards the goal. But the disadvantage of only Jnanam is you develop a big fat ego. So the amalgam of all the three helps you. Fundamentally, what are these yogas meant for? We should not forget that. What are the three yogas meant for? The purpose of three yogas is to Lakshmi, when you say to grow, is to grow in what way? how does it directly help you is to burn one's vasanas or desires. So how each yoga helps you to achieve that? Karma yoga takes care of the quantity of desires. Means it drops the quantity. Bhakti yoga improves the quality of desires. And Jnana yoga gives direction to your desires. So this is how the three yogas, the karma, bhakti, and jnanam, constantly keeps changing the characteristic of your vasana. So the result of that is the vasanas you have changes from gross to subtle. So the bulk goes, quality improves, direction changes. So having sufficiently done, you reach a state where, so when you perform karma, bhakti, and jnana yoga, you reach a state which is known as, I'm just mentioning in the context, uparati. Uparati is nothing but mental withdrawal. Obviously from the world. You're not interested in the world anymore. Mentally withdrawn. It's not physically withdrawn, mentally withdrawn. Then comes dharana, which is nothing but an open-eyed meditation. Then you do dhyana, which is closed-eyed meditation or meditation, and then you reach self-realization. So this is what happens when the three yogas are performed as per your constitution. Ultimately you attain samadhi. But the most important point to the entire session today is that you must understand your proportion, and the proportion that you are having, which you are born with, does not change during the course of your entire life. As we said last week, this remains your foundation of your personality. This doesn't change. And you should not try. You can change if you want to, but it is not required. Whatever your constitution is, you're born with it, make good use of it. And the proportion you have is the fastest for you to grow. Having said that, the point which Setuji said last, he said, culminating, everything culminates in Jnanam. It is true. But of all the three yogas, Jnana Yoga is said to be the fastest to reach the destination. Bhakti is second fastest, the slowest is karma. But no, therefore I will try to get onto the fastest mode of transport getting there. Not required. You may not be able to get there only because you're trying to get a mode of transport which has a long waiting list. There's a ready-made ticket now to get onto the bus. Get onto the bus and get there. You'll reach faster than, oh, I want to only fly in the Concorde plane, which is the fastest passenger aircraft. Now they have stopped using Concorde. There was a time which was the fastest means of transport. But I heard in 2030 they're going to relaunch Concorde. Okay, I will wait until 2030 to board Concorde to reach fastest to my destination. Huh? What madness is this? There's a bus which goes every day there, or there are other means of flight, you can go there, other means of transport, you can go there. But I will wait till 2030 to board Concorde because it is the fastest to get there. It's like you're trying to build castles in thin air. There you will not have a place, your roof over your head. So you got to use your constitution, you got to use your proportion well so that you grow. For some reason, you have been blessed with that constitution. Make good use of it. So this concludes the surgery. Now you recover from the surgery. Huh? It's a very deep and intricate analysis. It tells you how scientific is the subject that we study. And it's important to be a student of this knowledge. I tried to remain a student to learn through this dialogue. So I have taken notes through the process of sharing this knowledge today. It's always important to be a student. There's so much that you can learn. Now, just for your info, sadly, we'll have to take a break from the regular satsangs. So considering of my lecture tour and travel to Malaysia, we will not be having the sessions for the next 3 weeks. We will be back for the classes. This particular class, the Saturday satsang, will commence again on the 7th of October. So till we see you all again, happy Manana. Stay in touch, do your sadhana so that you don't lose the freshness. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.